Have you ever bitten into a fresh taco, thinking you're about to enjoy a flavor explosion of spices, meat, and salsa, only for it to be completely ruined because the cilantro tasted like you just licked a bar of Irish Spring? If that's you, don't worry. You're not broken, you're just genetically wired a little differently. And believe it or not, you're not alone. There's an actual scientific reason why, for some people, cilantro tastes like soap. So today, we're diving into the strange, slightly sudsy world of cilantro. We'll talk about science, genetics, culture, and even a little food history. And by the end, you'll understand why cilantro tastes like soap, right here on History of Food. Cilantro is one of the most polarizing foods out there. To some people, it tastes fresh, citrusy, and bright, like the very essence of summer in a single bite. To others, it tastes like you're chewing on grandma's bathroom sink. No middle ground, no, it's okay. It's usually either team love or team hate. In fact, this love-hate divide is so strong that entire online communities exist just for cilantro haters. Yes, whole forums are dedicated to complaining about how it tastes like soap, dirt, or even crushed bugs. Meanwhile, cilantro lovers are out here garnishing every dish in sight like it's confetti at a parade. Here's where things get interesting. The soap taste comes down to chemistry. Cilantro leaves contain natural chemical compounds called aldehydes. These aldehydes are also found in, you guessed it, soaps and detergents. For most people, the aldehydes in cilantro come across as lemony, slightly peppery, and refreshing. But for people with a certain genetic variation, their brains interpret those same aldehydes as soapy and bitter. It's not your imagination. If cilantro tastes like a Dove Body bar to you, that's literally how your brain is processing it. Now let's dig into genetics. Scientists have discovered that whether cilantro tastes delicious or disgusting often depends on a variation in a gene called OR6A2. This gene codes for an olfactory receptor, basically a sensor in your nose that detects smells. People with a particular variant of this gene are more sensitive to aldehydes, so they pick up the soapy notes way more intensely. Think of it like having a super-powered soap detector built into your nostrils. It's great if you're doing laundry, not so great if you're trying to eat guacamole. To make it even more fascinating, studies estimate that anywhere from 4% to 14% of the population has this cilantro-hating genetic variation. That might not sound like a lot, but globally, that's millions of people who are convinced the world is conspiring to sneak dish soap into their salsa. But genetics isn't the only piece of the puzzle. Culture and exposure also play a role. For example, in countries where cilantro, or coriander, as it's often called in other countries, is a staple herb, think Mexico, India, or Thailand, people are more likely to enjoy it, even if they have the gene that makes it taste odd. Why? Because they're introduced to it early and often, and the brain sometimes learns to associate cilantro with delicious meals instead of with bath products. On the other hand, if you didn't grow up eating cilantro, your first impression might be that sharp, soapy punch. And once your brain links cilantro equals soap, it can be really hard to unlearn that association. It's kind of like trying to enjoy licorice if you already think it tastes like cough syrup. As promised, we will also give a hint of history. Humans have been eating it for thousands of years. Ancient Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans all used coriander seeds for flavoring, medicine, and even in perfumes. In fact, coriander seeds were found in King Tut's tomb. Imagine being so important that even your mummified self gets a stash of spices for the afterlife. The leaves, what we call cilantro, have long been used in cooking across Asia, Latin America, and the Middle East. But here's the kicker. Even back then, some people hated the taste. There are historical records of people calling it foul-smelling or comparing it to bed bugs. So cilantro controversy isn't just a modern internet phenomenon, it's a timeless feud. Cilantro is one of those herbs that doesn't just sit quietly in the background. It takes over. Sprinkle a few leaves on your soup, and boom, the flavor profile changes completely. In dishes like salsa, pho, or curries, it's meant to add brightness and freshness. But if you're one of the unlucky people who taste soap, that same garnish ruins the whole dish. Imagine biting into a taco where the star note is shampoo with hints of lime. No wonder it drives some people crazy. Now, if you're firmly in the cilantro tastes like soap camp, you might be wondering, is there any hope? Can you train your taste buds to stop screaming bathroom sink every time? The answer is, maybe. Some research suggests repeated exposure can help. If you eat small amounts of cilantro mixed into dishes with strong flavors, your brain might gradually adjust and stop focusing so much on the aldehydes. Kind of like learning to enjoy black coffee or spicy food. Another trick is crushing or chopping cilantro very finely. This releases enzymes that can break down some of the soapy compounds. Pairing it with ingredients like garlic, lime, or chili can also mask the harsh flavors. But let's be honest, if you're deeply cilantro-averse, you may never be a convert. And that's okay. You don't have to force it. There are plenty of other herbs, parsley, basil, mint, that can give you a similar fresh vibe without the side of soap. So, why does cilantro taste like soap for some people? It boils down to chemistry, genetics, and personal experience. Those aldehydes in the leaves? Delicious to some, disgusting to others. Your genes might be the deciding factor, but your culture and exposure play a big role too. At the end of the day, cilantro is one of those rare foods that sparks strong emotions. Whether you love it or hate it, it's a great reminder of how unique our senses of taste and smell really are. What tastes like soap to you might taste like sunshine and lime to someone else. So next time you sit down to a bowl of guacamole or a steaming bowl of pho, take a moment to appreciate the leafy green drama happening in your mouth. Whether it's soap or citrus, cilantro is proof that taste is personal, powerful, and sometimes a little hilarious. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution.